Hi, and welcome again to another edition of Market Analysis for today, November 29th, the last month of November. This is a recording, and we're about to open in about 2 minutes, recording for Vantage Markets, and I'm Giovanni Benacore. All right, so let's take a look at the assets so far. We've seen how the NASDAQ throughout the month began the month from a swing low, making all-time highs, then retracing that move, and then recovering, looking to retrace what had corrected, and now we've entered into the plateau, if we will, a sideways trading so far. Will this mean that the consensus will be to continue this previous trend, this previous impulse, or is it time for the market to make another correction, and at least the first target will be the 50-day moving average within the Bollinger Bands? That could be one scenario. Obviously, the second could be a breakout to the upside, looking to revisit that all-time high. Okay, there goes the market. Market is open. But if you take a look at each of the single candles, they all had wicks, nice long wicks, and they just kind of went becoming shorter and shorter, kind of showing us an uptrend. But what I'm trying to for you to pay attention to is the real body of the candle. We can see that there was a lot of fluctuation on that day, the next day, but they all obviously almost the same width of the body. So this tells you that there's a big battle between the bulls and the bears, or buyers and sellers. Obviously, the buyers looking to bring the price back up, and the sellers obviously looking to push the price lower. So let's see who will win that battle. And so therefore, initially, if you do consider this going to be another correction, another wave down, initially your target could be that 50-day moving average, then the lower Bollinger Band. You see the RSI is above 50 so far, so it's not overbought, so that could be one way. As the projection for next month, what can you do? Well, we identified this as the first day, and this is the lowest of, right around the lowest where we place the candle, because the low of this candle is 20,016. So 20,000 round psychological number. From this, how far are we? 800 and change points, right? So will the market retrace all of that quickly, or will it take a couple of days, next month? Or have we found enough support, enough buyers to just turn the market around and go up to a 21,000 psychological value that has been visited before? So that could be obviously another scenario. So as for next month, you could say that the 20,000 is the bottom created last month, right? And the top, the highest was 21,338. So you have two extremes. You have a resistance and a support. And from these levels, you can use the retracement tool again and see how much of a retracement is the market going to be doing, and just kind of have the levels of Fibonacci to guide you. So the number is, the golden ratio is 0.618, right? And then you always say, okay, if there's going to be a quick correction or retracement in the market, you can look for 0.382 for that market to come here and rebound from there. And if it's just a short corrective wave, then it could be 0.23%. And from here it rebounds. But usually you look for the golden ratio, which in this case it continue and beyond. So it did 100% retracement. Okay, obviously from this point to this point, that's 100%. So from this low, you can use the lines across to identify possible levels of that, if the market is above it, of support, or if the market is below it, of resistance, into for example, you could do array, and that projects into the future. So you'll see it all the time. You know, that's the highest point of last month, and then the other one, the lowest. And you do the same. You could do the same. So, for example, how much of a movement was this of all of this? So you could do another from this time from top to bottom. Yeah. So you can see the Fibonacci numbers, and you see how they're very close to each other, because of that reason, because of the of what the Fibonacci numbers in nature it meant, that it always comes to the same point. So you could use that, play with that to identify future levels of resistance and support based off previous volume. Then let's take a look at the S&P 500. Then we have basically almost the same fluctuation as the S&P, but it's more prominent, and we can see more green candles. So it was smoother ride rather than the Nasdaq was very choppy. So here we see that impulse wave, that parabolic movement, creating that high retracement. You can look by eye that this retracement was basically 50% of the previous one. So from here, rally to the upside. We still haven't revisited that high, but again, it's Friday, last day of the month. There's gonna be very low volume anyhow, but the markets. Let's see if the market recuperate and close in the green for the month. That could be one of their targets. So take a look at the Dow, also same token, but the Dow has the same, more cleaner than the Nasdaq, and still we're closer to being overbought. But hey, let's see if you want to be bullish and go with a bang, close the month out with a bang, buying it. That could be a good way. Hey, Black Friday. So also crude oil, it did remain above our $68 support level that we had done on Monday. One of our targets was penetrated, obviously, but not a second. We were being shy of that, but we still remain. We stayed within that $2, $1 and change. So being bullish, still looking to buy. Then Nat Gas has created a top right around 320. So, but it is walking up the bands. We haven't updated this levels of support, so let's change that. Let's just use this low, and let's keep the same targets. Still bullish with Nat Gas. Gold. So gold, wow, just those movements of gold, but it's staying above 2,600. So our 2,700 is right around the corner. Let's just use this double top as a probable level of resistance, and just use the below one. You could be shy when the markets do a breakout or they're already coming towards your target. You could expect that they'll be off 1%, like they'll close, or they'll get near to it as low as 1% of that target. So keep that in mind. Then we have silver. The bands are converging. The medium, the moving average have crossed. So the 20 days below the 50, Let's see if that would imply, well, we saw that sell here, rebounded, maybe that low, rebounded. I'm still being bullish with silver. Gonna keep the same levels. Buying silver. Copper. Copper did a wild one. It just plummeted right after making that high and just took everybody to the cleaners that stayed long. But $4 seems to be the level of psychological support for it, as it was printed on the middle of the month. But it has been in. Okay, so here's another thing. So when you see that the market is doing equal highs, equal lows, obviously that's ranging, sideways trading. Well, obviously we expect that the market will be breaking out of this. So sometimes the effect is obviously is not the direction that we want, that we expect. And one way that you can cover yourself in case that happens is that the markets usually, say for example, we expect for copper to continue its downward trajectory, right? Because it did recover, but it hasn't been able to even come close to those highs right around the 20th. And it has just been sideways trading since then, so a lot of accumulation is happening. So if the sellers were so overwhelmed, I mean the buyers, then this should have already moved lower towards the $4. But again, I mean, the buyers are having obviously a rough time sustaining the levels around here, because the reason that hasn't dropped is because the sellers have not overwhelmed the buyers. So that pressure, how long will it last? So 5% is what it says, that sometimes the market might do a breakout and then reverse that 5% and they take the other direction. Or again, if it was up to the upside, it'll break to the upside, it'll be like 5%, it'll move, and then it'll just do the opposite. Okay, either way. So let's see what will happen in this case. Then we have, after this, we have Bitcoin that 100K. It's right around the corner. It's just right around the corner. It's gonna get there. Now the thing is, what will happen when it gets to 100K? Will it retrace 20,000? Will it drop 20,000 in one go, like it has done so in the past? But 100,000 is there, so for the grabs. It's not if, but when. Euro looking to sustain north of 105, and the pound is looking to sustain itself north of 127, which I really need to update those levels. 128, 128 and a half. Let's see if you'll revisit that high from today, which I doubt. But anything could happen. Let's see. All right, that's it for me. And the dollar index. Hold on. The dollar index, it's moving below our level of support. So let's bring this way down. Okay, here we are. Let's see if the dollar index continues its climb. Then, I mean, for those of you who know about have heard about the head and shoulders, this could be a head and shoulder in the making. Now we just need to wait for the second one, and you measure the neckline like so, and this you place it right around wherever it's projected to break to make the reverse move, which is down. So that's that. All right, have a nice weekend, and I'll see you on Monday.